Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast, the Sutton Podcast. I'm your host Mike, and joining me today's panel we have Chris, Paul and Joe. We're going to be talking about the Stevenage match and look forward to the Hartlepool game next Saturday. Don't forget you can help with costs to the show and one-off donations or regular subscriptions by joining us on Patreon. There's more information on the website, which is suttonpodcast.com. The Danny Bolt interview will be up on there this week at some point when I finish a little bit of tidying up. Thank you for joining us, and it's I've just had an email about 10 minutes ago, the 193rd most popular podcast in the UK charts for some reason, although the slight payoff to that is we did drop down to 191 in the Ukraine, so very much congratulations to whoever's just started a podcast in Ukraine, because we've been 124 weeks. No idea why or how. Really looking forward to talking to the panel, finding out what's going on with them. We'll start off with Chris. Last time we spoke was after the Crawley match on Boxing Day. So
yes.
How have you been since?
I have been all right. I have been fine. So when but also just to allude to future things, I was Jenny for the Crawley game, making my debut. And yesterday I made my home debut as Jenny. So
very
Jenny
good.
So.
Very good. This is, I think, possibly a coincidence because we booked these in a little while in advance.
Oh, yeah.
Or
yeah, this is a coincidence.
Or do you go and say, right, I've got to be Jenny on this day?
No.
Lovely. So next up we have Joe. And Joe, what have you been up to? Last time we had I think for all of us it was a win against Gillingham. But for you, I think it was technically a draw because you scoped off early. Oh, something's happened with Joe's microphone there. He's talking. Oh, there we go. No, you're gone again. Okay. While we sort that out, Paul, we'll come to you. It was a very cold Colchester the last time we spoke. Have you thawed out, and how are things since?
Good, Mike. Yeah, good. Yeah. Last Football Matters was we went. I took my son to Fulham for ground op last week. So we went. That was the first time we'd both been there. 39 shots was in the game, which was extraordinary.
Yeah, and there was no goals.
2 goals. Yeah.
Oh, was there 2 goals? Sorry. So Joe, let's have another try.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? My back.
We can hear you now. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Don't remind me much because obviously I'm still very upset about that. I've just been busy. I've got a lot of exams. I was going to hopefully get up to, but it didn't quite materialise. So Stevenage was my first match since Wimbledon, which was nice to go to. But yeah, been a relatively quiet month, to be fair.
Good stuff. Okay, so a couple of quick bits before we kind of get into it. So the ladies team's a bit odd today. they were there at the match. Ahmed was there on comms, and the referee decided that there was something he didn't like. Slightly different reports, a bit of metal sticking out near one of the goals or a concrete block. I'm not 100% sure which, but possibly like an old goalpost that's become more exposed as the rank weather recently. But obviously you can't play with that because lots of the players were apparently saying they wanted to just carry on, but it's like, yeah, you won't feel like that if you slide over that or go over that. That can't be played on. So we look to see what happens there, whether it gets rearranged or pitch isn't suitable. So do we get the points? I love an admin win as well. So there's also, don't forget, you can sign up to the very exciting Sutton postcard. First edition went out. It was brilliant. It's not. And the only other real thing is, again, something I think is great that the club's involved in. I don't think it's a great that it has to happen. So mixed thoughts. And I'm actually going to jump back into yourself, Chris, because you had a bit to do with this today. So there was the community fridge thing. So there is just opposite Gander Green Lane, opposite the stadium. So open up a little community fridge. It's essentially for like food waste and anyone who kind of is a bit short, which this is the bit that I don't think should be happening, but it is happening. So it's good that we're doing something with it. And it kind of dovetails almost the coffee mornings we've been doing. But Chris was a very busy boy yesterday.
Yes, I was.
He was litter picking. He was taking the. I was surprised the Wimbledon fans didn't give us a bit of stick for the old Womble business. But tell us about your morning first of all, Chris.
So my morning was litter picking in Collingwood Rec, and so there were some with help from the local police, which was unexpected, and also befriending some local kids of varying ages. It was a great success. At one point, I did feel a bit like the Pied Piper of Hamelin, so it was quite lovely. And yeah, so did some good work there, and then kind of got back to the ground, had a bit of decapitation rest period because there is no frame in the Jenny Giraffe costume. The neck is just literally resting on your shoulders. So it's a bit tiring. And then I went to go and meet our ball kids from Nonsuch Primary, I think, and also as well hang out with some of the players who were talking about cricket more than I would expect. So particularly, I think with John Barden seemed to be leading the cricket talk. I have no idea. So I was trying to figure out what match it was that they were talking about. But anyway, maybe they were all playing each other on a PS4 cricket thing. And then just doing meet and greet with the fans, wandering around the ground, causing a little bit of chaos, but all very good natured. And my assistant reckoned that 25% of the stickers he handed out were to fully grown adults who were making no sort of like attempt to sort of say, "Oh, I'm taking this for my kids." Like, no, we want that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great. And then I got into my suit to be the tunnel steward, and then post match went to do the to meet the community fridge people. So just on the community fridge, so they are open Mondays 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., Wednesday 2 to 4 p.m., and Saturdays 12 to 2 on a non-match day and 12 to 6 on a match day. Yeah, and they're lovely people. And yesterday was their opening day, so Jenny didn't cut any kind of like ribbons or anything, but yes, it was it was good. And yeah, and you were saying it's opposite the ground. It's the same block as the artist formerly known as the Plough.
Right.
But it's kind of like it's right next to the corner shop on the other corner of that block.
Perfect.
So lovely folks and doing good work, and they'll quite happily take a donation off you in exchange for cake and various other things. So
Excellent.
go and speak to
And
them.
remembered all of that, even though you sent me in a message just in case you forgot. So
Yes.
well done. Very well done. You remembered the whole lot. So right, we're going to dive in to had a bit more of a talking point than I actually was prepared for. So we're going to go into the ultimate team. So again, just to clarify the rules, this is your favourite player. It's not you saying this is the best player in all time. This is your favourite player, and it can be for any reason you like. So it's just a bit of we'll have a bit of a fun team. I spent a long time explaining it last week, and then they've done exactly the thing that I was giving as an example. So I'm going to get straight into it, and we'll come back in a second. We'll start with you, Joe, to get your notes ready.
And now, 125 years in the making. The Sutton United Talk Time On podcast. Sutton United all-time Ultimate 11.
So, Joe, who's your choice for right back?
Right back. Okay. So I've only been for a year, so I've got a very limited pool of 3 players. So I'm gonna just, because of the wonderful recovery, it's a horrific injury, I'm gonna go for John, because I've got his autograph. He was the first player's autograph I've got. So that's my very. I feel like I've not done the wonderful intro justice, because I don't have much reasoning other than that. I've got a better one for centre back, but that's what I've got.
That's as good as any reason. Did actually going to talk about John in a minute, actually, but Paul, we'll come to you next for your right back.
So I've got a little bit longer to choose from, in 6 or 7 seasons, 6 or 7 years, I think, although I did see them before that off and on for the last 30 years or so. But I'm going for the 6 years. And in the spirit of something just a bit different or something like that, I've gone for Enzio, who simply because what an extraordinary job he's done this year, playing out of his position. And I think it sums up the team really a little bit, mucking in for the team, getting stuck in, as I understand it, not too much noise. He could have made a right old noise about having to play. And he's also played it pretty well. So I've gone for Enzio, who probably isn't our greatest right back of all time, but in the spirit of the game, I'm sticking him down.
The choice that you've got today. This is the other thing. If I ask someone tomorrow, it could be something completely different. This is why this is such a weird little thing.
Well, let's hope
Chris,
so. I mean, we don't want him stuck there, do we?
Yeah. Chris.
So I've also gone for someone who occasionally played out of position when he played for us. Also, as well, he was right back for the very first match I went to. Simon Downer.
Okay.
Who was a stand-in goalkeeper. So not long after we played Arsenal in the FA Cup. And Simon, I got to know a bit from tunnel stuff, and absolutely lovely. It was
perfect.
Yeah,
excellent.
Personal reasons. Simon Downer.
We don't even need to go on to our second choices, so that's beautiful. So the centre back choices.
Okay.
So Joe.
Right. I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but I'm going to go over it again. For the way I got into Sutton was doing a career mode on FIFA with. So, and I kept one player throughout the 12 seasons, managing them. That was Louis John. He captained every could, apart from when he was injured or suspended due to my incompetencies at tackling. I'm going to go for him. He's my mum's favourite player as well, purely for the fact against Newport on the opening he was very kind to her and took a photo. So this one lovers and for my mother. So I'll go for Louis Joe.
Right. I am going to get grief that you've chosen a player because of FIFA, but no, it's fine. It's no problem, Joe. Don't worry. And Paul, who are you going for?
Oh, small print, Mike. Have I got two guesses or choices or one?
Just give me one first of all.
Oh, okay.
If we double up, if everyone's chosen Louis, then we may need second.
Oh, okay. I mean, it felt to me. So I have gone performance, and it felt to me. I mean, this is admittedly haven't seen Sutton teams from bygone age, but it feels like we're in a golden period of centre backs. So plenty to choose from, and Louis would have been a great choice. But I have gone for Jamie Collins, as that was he was the first centre back me and my son, or first one of centre backs who was in the team at that time, and actually, captain and absolutely just the epitome of someone you want your kids to. Absolute club man. I don't think I ever saw him lose a header in 6 years. I mean, it's just the way and such like. And I think I probably saw him at the end of his career as well. So so I can imagine he was pretty useful when he was a lot younger.
Dominant, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, and the penalty taking. I mean, if there was ever a man you wanted to slot the ball home, then it was him, wasn't it? So club captain. First guy, and that he's penalty taken, and just a terrific defender. So that's what we went for. That's what I've gone for.
Perfect. And Chris?
Right. Well, we have a slight issue here because my first and second choices have gone. My first choice was Jamie Collins. So I've just had a bit of frantic looking at who was playing for the very first game I saw, and Google suggests it was Michael Spillane, or Mickey, as I always used to call him. Yes. So okay. We'll go with that for random purposes.
Oh my God, I'm going to get some messages. Perfect. So what I'll do is I'm sticking around on the vote. I haven't thought this through very well because I just realised that the centre backs are going to get a second bite of the cherry because whoever's on next week are also choosing a centre back and a left back. But
whoever goes next week, they can override my choice because
No, that will come up soon. But next week they just get a free hit. But at some point, someone's going to be coming in going, "Yeah, I'm getting rid of one of them." But perfect. Thank you very much, gents. Right, super quickly for yesterday because we have got Jack and Adam with us already. The lineup yesterday, so bit of a shocker with Louis being out. Although he was walking around fine, he did say beforehand it was just a knock and he expects to be back next week. And I think Matt confirmed that in his interview.
He also confirmed that to Jenny the Giraffe.
He did. Excellent.
Yes.
Good. But the bigger shock was I did feel sorry for him after the third conversation I had with him. But I was there when John drove in and had a very quick chat while he was in his car. Then he was on the sidelines and Ryan's young Bruce wanted to have a little chat with him. So I took him over and he had a chat and had to explain about his injury then again. And then he came on the pitch very quickly while I was doing that silly thing in the dugout and had another chat. And I'm like, I wonder how many times he's going to have to explain how he's recovering this week. I did suggest we started a pool, but he didn't want to play along. But amazing. The guy's up, walking around without crutches. He was in the gym yesterday morning and drives himself around. That is just astonishing recovery. I suspect the fact that it was Stevenage made him absolutely want to be there. But just absolutely amazing. But yeah, what did you think of the lineup? Not necessarily the guys who were out, but what were your thoughts on? Oh, Kobe also back on the bench, brilliant. And Matt Ridley's walking around as well, so we're like pretty much coming back to full strength here. But what did you think of the lineup as we were going into it? A little bit of a shock, Louis being out, but as strong as you could expect.
I'm waiting for others to go because I never actually saw the lineup.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Go on in, Joe.
Yeah, very happy. Does anyone know? I didn't see the interview.
He had a knock in training, I think, and he's going to be at least a couple of weeks.
Okay. But, yeah,
Yeah.
on the bench because I didn't know that he was injured. But very, very good going forward. Good to see Lee Angle on the bench. He made a good impact. Harrogate. I agree. Come back. I think it's the first time we came on the podcast. We had about half our squad in the injury room. So now there's so much opportunity. I'm missing Tope. Just because he's a lovely guy. And it's sad to see him and Killian on the bench. But he's ripped it up brilliantly. So happy for him, and just really happy.
Excellent, Paul.
Yeah, I fancied our chances before the game, and then you saw the lineup, and you thought, oh, we've got to shuffle it out the back again. But we've got the greatest right back Sutton's ever had in the team, so that was handy. So I thought that might be a little bit issue, but they coped really well, didn't they? And as you say, just that little bit of beat, and with players back makes such a difference, doesn't it? You look at that team and the way they play. It is virtually at full strength, isn't it?
Yeah. So, but it wasn't. I did a T-shirt design, one for the purists. I think I put on there. It wasn't the most exciting game. I think Steve Evans said, "I don't think either keeper had to make a save."
That's not true.
Well, this is what Steve Evans was saying. He
did seem to be seeing a different match from other people.
he often does.
Yes.
But it wasn't frills and spills. I think I said after the game that wasn't the game I ever thought we were going to lose. But by the same token, I didn't think we were ever going to win it either. I think we could have still been there now, and both teams would have been huffing and puffing a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had the feeling that something was going to happen in the last minute. So yeah, and I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't, because we had already in the tunnel we'd already made a decision that we were going to kind of go out and escort the ref off. And I was also aware that I had to get into the mascot costume as quickly as possible. I was just thinking, can just be over quickly and without aggro. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the ref. He was subject to lots of conversation.
Now, I thought he did okay because he was letting it flow. He possibly let it flow a little bit too much in places, but I felt that he gave sort of equal to both sides from what I saw.
It was a really chippy game, wasn't it? I mean, is it 24 fouls? So I think that's quite difficult. And it's where was it difficult because he didn't get that consistency right earlier on, or was it just a really difficult game to handle? I'm on the latter side. I don't think he had a particularly terrible game, particularly. But both sides very physical, and it was and it was always going to be a difficult one to manage, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a big point. Obviously, because that's a game going into it that you think, oh god. But I think Stevenage. I was just thinking they're a little bit. Season, they're so good at home. We've seen that in the FA Cup, the way they came back. We lost in the league since the or something ridiculous. But I've just been looking at the results away. So many away draws, and just not getting those goals, and it's just I agree. It's nothing much wrong. My free kicks enough. Sometimes just not putting them in the right areas, but. There was much wrong. Some subject words from many people, but yeah, it's kind of obviously depends on your point of view. If it's going your way, but if the Ajiboy is running into the box, then you're going to shout on you because he'll go down with one touch, and that's fair to. I think he did much wrong. I think it was kind of the right level.
Yeah.
One thing I would say, so not an issue with the ref. But the linesman that was kind of at the sort of the non-Gander Green half. When in fact he missed Rob going down.
Yeah.
Okay, sure,
did.
it was to the other side of the pitch, but like he was down for quite some time. He was rolling around and like mate, why did you not see this? And like play was just all carrying on, and yeah, I was quite frustrated because like I was further away from Rob Milsom than he was, and I could quite clearly see the guy was in some trouble.
Yeah, I think also on that, it is a little bit sometimes because we know our players and we know which ones are likely to be rolling. Had that been a certain midfielder, there probably wouldn't have been as much worry. But because you know your players, and obviously the refs and linos don't necessarily know that. They just assume everyone's cheating at all times. But yeah, I mean, both of us cancelled each other out. The point it's not bad for both of us. Our second clean sheet in a row. And we're up to 40. So sort of.
Well, I think I'm more positive. I mean, I think I'm with Joe in that, like, I think that going into that, I was expecting a defeat. I was certainly expecting a difficult afternoon, and like we made them look ordinary.
Yeah.
Because I was there with a friend of mine who, who, like, when I sort of told him that we were playing the team that was second, he was quite surprised. Because like he thought they had been just like two mid-table teams playing each other, because he felt that like the skill set was quite equal. There were no moments where like, oh, they're going to do us now.
I think a point was great, wasn't it? Really, I mean, 16 times they've gone away with 3 points. So in this season, they went toe to toe physically with us. They could knock it about. Defensively, they're really strong. They got the reinforcements in as well. We're at the stage of the season now. I mean, they had got 4 or 5 people in, didn't they? They played. They brought 3 on after 60 minutes, and the goalkeeper started. And they actually had a decent away following as well. So I think to match that and get a point was a great result. I mean, not great entertainment, but it was a great result.
Yeah, and
I had a very
2 points off the playoffs. So, yeah.
I very much enjoyed yesterday because I was with a mate who get battered. Because he watched the Villa game and he was like, "So an Arsenal fan." So he was standing there and I was like, "So this hasn't gone very well, haven't it? You've lost to Everton and we've got a point against the team who have got 2 games behind the leaders." I said, "I was a brilliant after," but I said at half time, I don't. It was a very midfieldy game. The ball just kind of went from. I do really think that there were moments, especially in like middle second half, where we had a sustained pressure for a good 5 minutes. Didn't very long, but we had the free kick after free kick, and I was just like, yeah, okay, this is different to 3 months ago, where we wouldn't have this pressure and we just let, I don't know, Tranmere springs to mind. It's a difficult game for other reasons and injuries, but just we didn't wilt in the face of a team who could just easily, with 1 goal early on, we drop. So I despite no goals, I didn't feel that worry go horribly wrong at any moment. And then that corner was conceded in the last minute. It's probably not a good thing, but I was like, no, it will clear it. And he was like, yeah, no, we'll clear it. And we did. And I was like, see, this is the faith you have to have, maybe. Maybe we just... So yeah, I very good.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll wrap up quickly for yesterday. Just before we move on, just want your thoughts, guys, on your one choice, because there's 4 of us, for your player of the day. So
now watch me do my dance. I'm the player of the day.
So we'll do this opposite way around. We'll do Chris first.
Okay. Ben Goodliff.
Yeah. Excellent. And Paul?
Yeah, day for the back line. I'll go with Joe.
Okay. And Joe? Confused me for a second now.
Yeah, no, it confused me. David's touch at the end of the away from like two defenders just was lovely. So I'll give him that.
Right. Well, I'm going to go for Jack, not necessarily actually because of the match, but because of his interview afterwards when he gave it back to Joe Gizzy for Joe last week saying that he was just doing his job after that wonder save. And this week, Jack's like, yeah, well, if he did his job, I wouldn't have to pull him out. And I was like, I'm loving this. Getting my popcorn out. And I think Joe's come back today with touche. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Jack for that reason. And that, coincidental, but that leads us very nicely on to Hartlepool and our guests, Jack and Adam, who are from the HUFC Chat podcast. Is that right? I've got that one right.
Yeah, that's correct.
Excellent. Hello, and how are you guys?
Buzzing after yesterday, to be fair. Like, it was, Sunday yesterday, some away day. Dan Dodds, all of us at Hartlepool United love you a bit.
It's been a bit of a slog for you guys. I mean, what's I know there's stuff behind the scenes, but what's breaking it down? What's gone wrong this season?
I'll let you take this one, Davo, because I normally rant a lot about it.
Well, we bring in a manager from Scotland who should never have been brought in. No AFL experience, no credentials to be really given the job. And to make matters worse, he was fully backed, which some might argue and say, well, what's wrong with that? But he was allowed to bring in about 6-7 players from Scotland. Again, not good enough to be in the Football League. And I think from the minute the season kicked off, we got beat 4-0 at Walsall. And I think most Pools fans kind of got the vibe that it was going to be a long, long season.
Yeah, because I mean, looking at the table now, that win yesterday was huge for you, really, because it pulled you back over Gillingham. I mean, what is there? Am I mixing it up, or is there takeover on the cards for you guys, or is that a different club?
I think it's more we wish there. Well, certain a lot of us wish there was a takeover on the cards. So there was an article that was released last week, came after a massive defeat to Colchester in terms of significance. Came out, the person who had pulled together this article, I don't like to slate people too much, but had clearly not done his research, and it basically all came out that the people involved were not the type of people that we'd want at the football club, which is never ideal. I think me and Adam were from the off quite sceptical. We did a Twitter space after the game, and we said we'll look at it and we'll see what's to be said. But we're going to take it with a pinch of salt, as I think you have to be so careful. Whether you're for the current owner, whether you're against the current owner, you don't just want anyone taking the club over. So yeah, whether it happens in the coming year or whatever, hopefully it does. I think it would be needed, but at the minute there's nothing concrete now.
See, that's honestly the attitude that much more football fans should be having, because I remember getting a bit of stick sort of late last season when Crawley were being taken over by the crypto bros and being told that I was just jealous that they've now got loads of money and they're going to buy the league and all the rest of it. And it's like, you need to know who's behind this. You can't just go, yeah, we've got new owners, that's it, it's all going to get sorted out. So I actually think way more football fans should be just questioning behind, okay, you're saying where all this money's there, but show us where it's coming from. That's really,
well, exactly. I mean, when you've got someone saying, you read the article that came out after the game, and apparently this consortium had like £215 million. They were going to inject £3 million on day one. We got a 400k striker lined up from what was it, an esports team as well, and that they were going to lift all banning orders or anything that had been in place without consulting the Cleveland police or the club. It was just going to happen. And don't get me wrong, that whole thing about the banning orders, that's not going to be something I'll discuss on here because there's a lot of politics behind it, and that's not the point of it. But I mean, to come in and promise all of this straight away, like he's just kind of had to look at it and think straight away, I'm not convinced on this at all.
Yeah, that smacks of just desperation. Please be my friend. I want everyone to love me. And you got to wonder what if someone's going to invest that money, what are they getting out of it? That's my very first question. What are you getting from this? There's no way people are just going to do it. Well, very few people are going to do it just for fun. I mean, even Ryan and Rob are going to get a return on their investment at some point. Well, if they ever get out of that league, but we'll see what happens. But what are your guys' thoughts on apart from yesterday? Is there any other highs for the season? What's been the best part of the season so far apart from yesterday? He's got
transfer window.
It's on you.
Yeah, I'd arguably say the transfer window. It has you laugh, but it has to be that.
You got 11 in, didn't you?
Yeah, 11, 5 in on deadline day. Obviously, we were rumoured to be linked to quite a few good players, but then obviously things were just not going our way for whatever reason. We were being told that players were going to other clubs because they want to play with their mates. Players were staying at one club for whatever reason. So towards the end, it was just becoming more of a slog. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we bring in 5 and 50 minutes on deadline day night. So yeah, I've got to go deadline day for sure.
How many started yesterday?
Quite a few.
I think it was 3.
I think it was 3, yeah, something like that. But a lot more featured. You know, when it comes to highlights of the season, I think we found chat saying it quite frequently that the highlights is just going to the football with your mate. Like come 3 o'clock, we forget everything else because it's probably going to go downhill. But especially with away days, you know, just I think when you're in a situation that we're currently in, especially, you value like us lads were on cloud nine, talking about it afterwards, how amazing it was, what an away day it was. And I think for us, that's been like the theme of the season. We've just kind of thought, right, well, come 3 o'clock, probably not going to turn up. So how about just enjoy everything else about it? You know, and I think that's a massive thing that football fans should definitely realise and a lot resonate with, that it's a lot about the social side and what it can do. I mean, the amount of people who've said to me this season that away day or that game has, you know, really been an escape for 90 minutes. I think for me, that's what I take away most from this season so far. The situation we've been in has been awful. We've played awful football. We've not looked good at all, but I've had some of the best memories with my mates. So, you know, you just got to take that sometimes.
Yeah, I think the Gandemonian guys who do the blog on Sutton United, they very frequently use the phrase "a wonderful day out, spoiled by the football," and it is literally just that. And I think the whole lockdown thing, I know it's a couple of years ago now, but that made a lot of people realise, oh, yes, it is a lot more than just watching, because watching it on TV wasn't the same. I know there's the big talk about lifting the 3 o'clock blackout, but it is there's no comparison to watching live, because it's half the time it's the divs in the crowd shouting something that make the day. But onto our away day. So what's everyone's thoughts on Saturday? Are us Sutton fans going in with lots of optimism, or are we now a little bit pessimistic that they're fighting tooth and nail for everything? Who wants to be brave? Paul, you go first.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
It really is.
When we've seen when you see sides sliding down, you think, oh, they're in trouble. They're going to stay there, and then they've had a pick me up. I'm thinking of Colchester, and others have had a bit of a pep, haven't they? So I don't think it's dead and buried down there by any stretch of the imagination. And that January transfer window is an interesting one, isn't it? Last year, we definitely felt the pressure of teams bringing in new strength and depth. So I think it'll be interesting playing the teams that have brought in a lot of players over the next few weeks. I guess the advantage for us is that Hartlepool have brought in so many that it might take a few weeks for them to gel. But equally, you know, we've got we've talked about it earlier, haven't we? We've got everyone back. We've got some new players in. We're playing probably the best we've been playing this season. and we've got a sniff of the playoffs ourselves now. So, yeah, confident. You'd have to be confident, wouldn't you? But an interesting time to play Hartlepool.
Lovely.
I'm kind
Adam,
of sad
we'll
that
go with
I'm
you.
not. Oh, sorry. I was going to say I'm kind of sad I'm not going because Hartlepool has always been a wonderfully friendly away day in my experience. It's obviously a bit of a trip, but it's always been really lovely and I think it's going to be a little bit like the Gillingham games where particularly the one that we played sort of just before New Year's, where because they too were playing, or a lot of those players were playing for their careers. So I think it's going to be quite scrappy, and I think if we get away with a point, then I think that would probably be okay. I think in the circumstances. So obviously I would like a win, but yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, we'll finish off the Sutton point of view. This one. Oh, he's conveniently buggered up his microphone again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on.
Let's say I think when we played them earlier this season, it was a very different they are now, and with the situation kind of then I think you could snap a bit like Gillingham in October when we were away. It could be very scrappy, and one team could just take it at the death. Or I think if one team gets an early goal, and I think if we get an early goal, especially have a good day, it could be a good day out. But I think if Hartlepool get an early goal, then I think it could be a very good game. I think it could be very we'll wake up, let's go and let's try and get back into this game. So I think out. I think that both a lot because the squad will see it as a game that on stats on league position we can win, but have just come off a big win against Doncaster, who we play the week after. So it's our next run of games are that kind of area not far enough below to be like, oh, we can beat these lot easily. It's not sorry to any Rochdale. Kind of at the moment, who are on a awful. Yeah, I think it could be. As I said, it could be very, very tight, or it could be a very open game where defending is good and lots of offences.
Okay, so I may have to come back in and edit this back in afterwards because it looks like for some reason I've stopped recording and no one else has. So this is going to be brilliant. Jack and Adam, what are your thoughts on the game?
It's going to be intriguing. I like the point Joe made. Obviously, I went down to Sutton early part of the season, and it is going to be a new look Hartlepool, new 11, new manager. And funnily enough, one of the things I enjoyed most about yesterday, as well as the 3 points, was the fact for the first time this season we can actually walk away from a game and say we watched our team play with desire. There was togetherness, there was unity, and we haven't had much opportunities this season to say that. So it's going to be an interesting time to play Sutton again. I think if we played the way we did yesterday, if not better, I would fancy us. I really would.
Yeah, I'd echo that. As we've said, among the fan base, I think, and Adam's just touched on, the actual hunger from players and to see that players actually want to be there and actually want to fight for us. I think it always helps when you've taken over 1K on an away day when you're in the position that you're in. To come out to see that away following must be quite something as a player. Like, I know 110% as a Hartlepool fan, if I was playing for the club in front of them fans, I'd just be flying into everything, wanting everything. So yeah, heading into next week, there's no reason why we can't get a result at this point in time. I think probably because of the league position we're in, but I've stopped looking at the league table. I just kind of like, right, next game. The thing with Pulls is there's been too many times this season when we've had a false start. So we've won a game, looked really good. Next game we've gone and been awful or bang average. So I don't want to go and say, yeah, we'll confidently go and beat you, but I'd be probably edging towards Pulls at this time just because I think there'll be that confidence that has grown and the new lads will really bring that energy. And I also think that with some of the players that we brought in, they're challenging current players in the squad for their positioning and their position in the squad, which is only going to make them want to work harder, or it should do anyway in principle. So I think with that competition in the squad, positive result yesterday, as we say, I'd probably edge towards a Pulls win, but if we get a point, we get a point.
Perfect. Okay. The most important question for the travelling Sutton fans. I'm sorry, Chris, it's not the video because the videos aren't working. But Jack and Adam, we do need to know your suggestions for the best drinking place for everyone to go. It's pub of the week.
Wow.
Mike, what is that?
Right, what is that?
Mike, someone take those buttons away from him.
It was a video. You're lucky.
It's brilliant. I love it.
Well, in answer to your question, I mean, you can never go with wrong with Church Street, Wetherspoons. Like, you know, me and Davo frequent that place quite often after a game, have something to eat and stuff, talk about the match. But that's all right, you know, does the job. I don't really drink, so, and obviously it's different for me because of me and Davo, but we tend to go into the corner flag before the game because obviously, you know, Davo's got links with them and the people in there we know quite well. So that welcomes away supporters. I think I'm right, aren't I, Adam?
Yeah, that's right. I was just about to say, it's quite funny how we are answering that from the man who doesn't drink.
Well, exactly, yeah. If you want to juice this, you see, I'm representing the Sutton fans who may not want a drink. There we go.
Thank you. Thank you.
No.
So if I go, I'm.
Well, you're more than
Start there.
welcome. You're more than welcome, yeah.
No, you can't go wrong with Wetherspoons. I'd say either Wetherspoons, some nice pubs in Church Street, or we've got a lovely marina. You can head over there. It's a nice scenic place.
Yeah, the marina's fantastic. There's a lovely pub, sort of like on the marina, or at least there has been. I don't know if it's still there, but blank looks, so I guess it's not there.
Well, it depends which one you're on about.
Okay, right.
Places now.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to wrap it up there. Unfortunately, I can't stop the recording because it's already stopped from my side. So what I'm going to do is I'll fire you out an email. And there's a little link, and it's just literally it completes your upload button. If you could just fire that for me, and then I'll just tag in the rest of it. So thank you all for your time. I have no idea what happened, but I'll work it out and fix it. And Jack, Adam, thank you very, very much. Thanks for being patient with us. And obviously, apart from Saturday, hope the rest of the season and beyond gets much better for you guys.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, the same goes to you guys.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care. Cheers. Bye.
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 Right.
Do you need me to try to save anything?
No, I'll send a link out, and it will it just literally completes your upload. I think it's just like a little mini, a 2-second thing.
Yeah,
Thanks
because
a lot.
mine still says uploading 99%, so
Yeah.
it's still going up to then their cloud.
Yeah, no worries. I'll get that sent out in about the next 5-10 minutes.
Cool, brilliant.
Cheers. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.
Cheers,
bye.
Cheers, mate.